All right. Well, welcome back to the dispatch. We're very excited to not have one, but two guests from Bellingham, Mass. We have Zack Spencer and Jason Lacasse with us today. We're going to start here with Zack. Zack, welcome to Pierce and welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having us here.
Oh, absolutely. Have you been to Pierce before? First time?
No, this is my first time.
Nice. So when you came, I mean, is this first time being to a fire manufacturer?
Yes.
All right. And
Yep.
what are you here doing right now?
Right now, we're doing the final inspection on our 107-foot Pierce ladder. Everything right now is looking amazing. We're very excited.
Awesome. Very cool. So tell me about that first time here, first time going to a fire apparatus manufacturer. What was that like walking out onto the blue floor for the first time?
I think we were all pretty excited this morning. I don't think we even wanted to go to breakfast, but we went to breakfast, and then there were kind of the anticipation of coming here and actually seeing this thing up close and personal. Seeing it for the first time, I think it surpassed all of our expectations. The pictures that we got, the updates that we were getting, it just didn't do it justice until we actually saw it up close, personal. It far surpasses anything that we could have ever imagined.
Well, that's great. I mean, so today is literally the first time you've seen it.
Yes. Yep.
All right, so we'll jump right in. So tell me a little bit about, Zach, the process of how'd you guys settle on the 107-foot Ascendant aerial?
Currently, we have a fleet of different manufactured apparatus, and we're switching all over to Pierce. So we took advantage of the stock program that you guys have. Unfortunately, we were replacing a 2016 tower ladder that we lost, totaled in an accident. We were in need of a new ladder truck. We had just gotten a new Pierce engine off the stock list, and we knew we had some rumblings that there might be some ladders on one of the stock lists, and we're fortunate to get our name on this one. And that's kind of how we went about this. We just went off what the stock list spec was, and this has, I think, surpassed all of our expectation for anything that we could have even customized. With the lead time that we're getting out of it, it just made sense because we needed something now. We've had a year without a ladder truck, and I feel like we're doing a disservice to the residents of our town as well as our mutual aid partners. And we're just all very excited to get this rolling and in service.
Well, yeah, we're excited to get to serve the community and ultimately get to serve you to serve the community, so to say. So you sounds like you're familiar with the stock program before. It sounds like you already had an engine that you said you got on the stock program. How's that been? How's your experience been with that one?
Honestly, it's been amazing. I think the features that we're getting on these trucks off the stock list is more than even what we could think of if we were to go with a custom truck. We walked in today, and some of the stuff that is on this ladder, I don't think any of us would have even thought of. And it's just little stuff that is just kind of blowing us away, that it's like, oh, I would have never thought of that. So you can tell there's a lot of thought that goes into the stock program with these stock trucks. And I think that people hear stock and they're like, oh, that's going to mean, whatever. There's this negative connotation to it. But right now, with the lead time of custom trucks, and I think every community in the United States, Canada is in need of trucks right now, and the lead time on getting something custom is kind of out of reach for a lot of people. I think the stock list has been a great asset for departments. I know for us, we were kind of behind the eight ball with our fleet, playing catch up right now, and the fact that we're getting, like I said, we just got a new engine 6 months ago, and we're getting the ladder that's going to be put into service within a year. It's just crazy to me. I've been part of other departments where you're waiting 2 years for a brand new truck. It's been really good.
Well, it's awesome to hear that, especially that you already have a unit in service that's going through that stock program. And I think one of the things that there's to your point, this misconception on the stock program that it's like a super standard truck, or that people call it a quote unquote program truck. And the reality is some of those things, I mean, like you can customize colors, you can go through, and there's some options that can go through there. But the team that puts those together, they pay really close attention and they modify it over time. What are the most commonly used options? They really try to package that on those stock options for folks. And it's so fun. The other one, I'm itching for your feedback on here, particularly having an engine in service. But oftentimes we don't hear as much from a warranty perspective. And we hear really positive things about uptime on stock trucks too. Have you guys had similar experiences?
So the truck that we just put into service, it was relatively quick to just get rolling, put it in service. We outfitted it the way that we thought was best for functionality, given what we had for specifications of the cabinets, etc. But honestly, it was like as soon as we had it, it was in service within 2 weeks of us getting it. We've had zero issues. So I think that the misconception, hopefully, with the stock program is going to go away, because it's just, you hear all the time about lead time now of materials and trucks, and it's just stock program, in my opinion, is one of the better things going right now in the fire service. And like you said, it is the most popular features of what they're seeing out there in the trends of what people are building. And like I said earlier, it's some of the stuff that we're getting on this ladder is stuff that we never would have even thought of. And we went through this thing today kind of with a fine tooth comb to make sure everything is up to snuff. And I was joking around with Jay today. I was like, we could just drive this thing home and put it in service. It is so close to ready, and we have been itching for this for a long time. Currently, we have a fleet of different manufactured apparatus, and we're switching all over to Pierce. And I'm noticing some of the build quality of the Pierce is just, it's kind of blowing me away. For a lot of my full-time career fire service anyways, I started my career on a different branded aerial, and that was what I was used to. And now going with the Pierce, it's far and away right now, I think the best product that's out there. And for everything that we're getting, we just got the engine, like I said, we're getting this ladder, and we have another engine that's coming down out of the stock program too. And the chief was joking with us earlier, like, oh, we're going to be the stock fire department. And you know what? That's completely fine with us, because we're going to have quality equipment running down the road, responding to calls. And like I said, we've kind of been lacking in that, just no one's fault, but just we're playing catch up on getting caught up on having quality equipment. And to have 3 brand new pieces of apparatus within 2 years is incredible. And you hear about departments still waiting, they've been waiting 3 years for their custom piece. And it's just, we're getting these off the stock list, and it's everything that I think we could have dreamed of for equipment, and we're just kind of making it work. And it's so far, it's been really good. We were amazed at the compartment storage on this ladder. We were worried about, this is going to be our rescue ladder, kind of all-encompassing toolbox, and we were kind of worried about the space that we're going to have. And then seeing it up close and personal, we're just like, yep, we're going to have way more space than we could possibly know what to do with at this point.
So were you guys running a Quint previously? I know you said
No.
that it's been a while. No, so this is your first time with the Quint.
So our tower was just a straight tower, didn't have a pump on it, just had a waterway, obviously. So this will be our first Quint that we are running as a department, which we're actually really excited for. This has 500-gallon water tank on it, 2,000-gallon a minute pump. So it's going to be our biggest pump. You still have a good amount of water, and this is going to be first out the door for car accidents, for any sort of rescue incident, as well as for a structure fire. We're going to roll this thing. It's going to be going heavy. The engine that we just ordered, we run all ALS paramedics. We have a dedicated ALS ambulance that we run, and then our engine is an ALS engine with 3 paramedics on it that runs to the calls with that ambulance. We run out of 2 stations. We have 8 people. So at our second station, we have a lieutenant and then 2 cross-staffed firefighter paramedics. So they run the ambulance down at that station, as well as the engine that we just got. So how it's going to work is our new engine that we're getting is going to run with that ambulance out of that other station. And then if there is a fire and they're all in quarters, obviously, they're going to run the ladder. So it's going to be kind of all encompassing of how we do things. We're really, with the Chief Miller, we are really trying to move our culture forward and move the way that we do things forward. And it's just been an amazing thing to see these trucks coming in and how we're doing it. And everyone, there's like this new renowned pride that we're taking with everything. And this is huge for us.
That's really cool. So you mentioned first time going with a Quint. It sounds like a lot of changes to the way you're operationally going to be fighting fire here.
Yep.
What kind of training does that require then to get this unit into service and to really get it, even just your department, wrapped around this new technology and new piece?
Yeah, so there's going to be, we talked about this today, there's going to be a lot of in-depth training that we're going to be doing on this, because like I said, we had a tower previously, so people are kind of used to how the tower operated. I feel like a lot of the guys and girls, they got comfortable with how the bucket works, and you have that platform that you're working with. This is just a 107-foot straight stick ladder, so that's going to be a change in how we operate, on top of the fact that now with the aerial device, you also have a pump. So we're going to go in depth on how we're doing things. And I talked about the features that we haven't seen previously. The outriggers on this, there's 2 cameras that you can have on when you're rolling up on scene to say, I have correct placement. I'm not going to hit anything. So you should never have to reposition that ladder. Just roll up and be ready to go. And that's something that we're not used to, because we didn't have that. On top of the fact that the outriggers on the tower that we had were behemoths, to put it mildly. I mean, they extended 7 feet outside of the truck. This has a 4-foot outrigger that on both sides that drop out, and then the one in the back that drops straight down. So that's going to be a change. So operationally, we're going to do some pretty in-depth training with our members. We already have a really good driver training program in place right now that we've instituted over the past couple of years. And that's going to kind of be part of this, on top of all the other stuff that we're going to be doing for training, just to get this thing, like I said, in motion.
So what advice would you give to someone who's considering 107? If someone's considering that or considering an enforcer, what would you tell them?
I think that you should not just consider it, but you should go with it, honestly. That's my opinion. I started my career on a different different brands. And like I said, I've worked with all the manufacturers. In my opinion, I think the quality is top notch. And from what I'm seeing, it meets everything that we're going to be doing. So just go with it. That's my opinion on that. I'm really glad that we went with Pierce. We looked at all the manufacturers, settled on Pierce, and the experience has been really good. The quality has been really good, and we've had really no issues with the products.
Well, that's great. Can you tell me a little bit about what it's like working with the Legion's Fire and Rescue, your dealer up there as well?
Yeah, they're really easy to deal with. We have had really no issues. The sales reps have been phenomenal in trying to fix any issues that we've had.
Well, that's awesome. Well, genuinely appreciate your business, and really the opportunity to serve you and your community is not something we take lightly. Once you do have the opportunity to wrap up the inspection, I really would encourage you to get to know some of the folks here. If you have a chance to walk around the plant a little bit or those kinds of things, it means as much to us as it does to you, I promise.
That is our next step. We've been all kind of just diving into this ladder that we kind of forgot that there's other stuff happening. And then the chief was like, "Oh, we're gonna do a tour," and it was like, "Oh, yeah, that's right." We walked in here and we were just in amazement at this truck that we were like, "Oh my god."
Well, it's great that you got to go run to the one that had your name on it. You know what I mean? Because once you get out there, it's incredible when you see just the volume of them. But yeah, please do. I'd encourage you to do that. It means a ton to our team too. I know when you get to the point of going through and taking the list on your truck, you'll meet like your truck ownership team lead if you haven't already, requirements managers. If you're doing the stock program, you're probably working with Andy on that. But the part two that's so important to them is they want to get to know you as people, and it means a lot to them to get to look the customer in the eye. That's going to take that unit and put it into service, and the pride that they take in it. It's really driven from you and your team. So thanks so much for being here. It means a ton to us.
No, I thank you guys for having us because this has surpassed our expectations of what we were going to experience, and it's been really good.
All right, great. Jason, welcome to the hot seat.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, first time ever to Pierce for you as well?
Yeah, this first time being here. It's like a kid in Disney World. It's unbelievable.
First time at Pierce, we put you right on the blue floor, then we drag you upstairs for a podcast. How's that?
We're not a podcast either. This is great.
I mean, you're just living.
Hey, first.
I bet you've never been to the machine shed for breakfast. I bet you
First
did
time
that today
in Appleton.
too.
Unbelievable.
Man, let's go. Well, that's great. Well, welcome to the dispatch. Welcome to Pierce. We're super excited to have you here. I know we just talked with Zach a little bit, so I'm going to fire you with some of the same questions. But before we get going, tell me a little bit about Bellingham. Tell me about the fire department. Tell me about the area you serve.
Yeah. So we're a small town, southern border of Massachusetts. We run 8 people a shift. It's expanded a little bit. We added medic-only programs. So we have 2 designated paramedics at our headquarters, as well as 3 fire medics that are at our headquarters. Then we have 2 firefighters and a lieutenant at our south station. This ladder that we just are doing our final inspection on is going to be out of our headquarters.
That's great. So tell me about what the top features are on this new 107 that you're picking up.
The big one so far that we noticed was how driving up to a scene, being able to use those cameras, smaller footprint on the outriggers is big for us. And even just like the little things. We noticed before there was a 14-foot ladder that was already thrown on there. We have a full complement of ladders that are already out there. There was 6 hooks that already came with it, which was great. And the cabinet space was unbelievable. Those are just some of the little details that get thrown in there. Steps on top of the tip of the ladder where you can put your feet in, which is great for safety for us.
Can you walk me through a little bit about your compartmentation there? So being that it's a stock unit, you didn't obviously lay out the compartments exactly. So did you have a pretty good idea going into this what the compartments were going to look like, and also how you plan to use them?
Yeah, absolutely. So we got the blueprint sent to us and we really worked off of that, try and plan what tools are going to go in what compartment, trying our best to keep each compartment to match all of the other 2 engines we have. But what we're really just trying to do is keep each compartment for a specific use. One of our back compartments is going to keep auto extrication. We want to make sure that each cabinet is laid out for one specific use. First compartment is going to be our pump compartment, all of our valves, nozzles, every spare that we need there. That way, when you're walking up to it, you know exactly what's going to be in there. You don't have to go open in 5 or 6 compartments. You just go right to your auto X compartment. This is going to work structure fires, commercial alarms, motor vehicle accidents. So that's kind of where we're rolling with.
Have you got to run it yet?
This new one? No, we haven't taken it out yet. I think that's tomorrow on the pump.
Yeah, you'll have fun. That thing's smooth.
Yeah.
That new Ascendant is sweet.
I can't wait.
When we got to launch that product, it was just jaw dropping to folks when they get that thing out of the cradle and start moving that thing around. I think you guys are going to be really pleased with it. So.
Can't wait.
Yeah, I might have to tag along. I get a little excited about those. Well, that's great. Can you talk a little bit about the kind of calls that this is going to respond to in your community?
Yeah. So I was saying before, we're going to be doing any confirmed structure fire. This is going to be first. Like I was saying before, running out of our headquarters. When the call comes in, for a structure fire, any commercial alarm that we have, any motor vehicle accident, we're going to be rolling this first out. Talking before, we've had a lot of apartment complexes go in town, so we definitely need it.
Do you guys have anything in your community that requires below grade rescue?
I mean, we have not a ton of water, but we do have some lakes that we can use for, which would be great. Sure.
Yeah, Dave McAllis recently just shared, I want to say it was out in Massachusetts, some below grade activity that was going on around there. It's just incredible once people start, like the training element, once people get comfortable with it, the amount of things they can do, it really turns into a Swiss Army knife the more people train. Can you talk to me a little bit about that on the training? How are you going to get everybody up to speed on this stuff, man?
So when we take it in, obviously you guys do your training with us, which is great. We have a private company that's also going to be coming out, go through a training with all of the department. That kind of alluded earlier. We have a driver training program that's going to be involved anytime we take inventory. Everybody's going to be trained on driving, operating this, being useful for it. It's 8 foot shorter than our previous one, so that's going to be big for us.
All right, so can you tell me a little bit, let's say someone's on the fence or they're considering different apparatus choices. What would you tell them to consider if they're looking at an Enforcer 107?
So for us, I think the big thing was the stock program. Really just start the process and take inventory within 6 months. Crazy. I know.
Absolutely. Can you tell me a little bit about what your experience has been like working with Pierce and Allegiance?
So we are actually becoming really close. So we just took inventory of our engine 3 a couple months back, and that's been really rolling really well for us. Obviously, we have our ladder now. We have an engine 4 coming. That's going to be our first out of headquarters engine. And so we've gotten really close with a combination of having a uniform with all of our apparatus being Pierce. It's like hop in one driver's seat, you go to the next one, you go to the next one. And a lot of the little nuanced things are just uniform. So, and the little ones have been addressed really quick.
Well, we certainly love to hear that issues have been minimal, but at the same time, fire trucks break and like people ride them hard, like their work equipment, they're built to do work. And I just have to say that you're going to be really pleased with the service that Allegiance provides there in terms of getting parts locally, in terms of mobile service and things like that. I know they put a lot of investment into that, and they continue to make those investments because really the test of the relationship isn't all on your experience at the blue floor. It's what's your experience for the rest of the time in the life of that apparatus.
Absolutely.
So
And
again, I can't tell you how much we appreciate the opportunity to get to do that. And it's really on us to earn it every single time.
Yeah.
Because one of the things as you tour the facility and that you'll realize, there's a lot of trucks that move through here,
Yeah.
but they build one at a time. And it's the same way from a relationship standpoint. So again, it's truly a pleasure to get to serve you and to serve your community.
I think it's really cool to just have one point of contact to go to, and then talk about before doing this tour is going to be awesome.
I think one of the things that we constantly hear feedback wise on it, which is shocking because you're literally like in a fire truck store. There's fire trucks as far as the eye can see, and like different phases of the build process. But the one thing that we constantly hear is the comments about our people.
Yeah.
And it's incredible. And so one of the things that you'll realize is like there's Midwest nice, there's Wisconsin nice, and there's Pierce nice. And I'm telling you, you're gonna get out there and there are gonna be people that you're gonna be thinking like that, man, I can't believe they didn't ask for my autograph. Like they absolutely are firefighter fans that work here. And I really look forward to you guys getting to experience that. And again, to just getting to serve you guys for a really long time. But that's it. Well, we really appreciate you guys being here. Thanks so much for your time. And we look forward to serving you for a very long time.
Thanks for having us. It's been great.